We're now less than 4 months away from Baldur's Gate 3's release anniversary. It's crazy how time flies, but Larian Studios is still winning awards. In fact, they just made history by winning gold at what this industry considers the 5 major Game of the Year ceremonies. This makes BG3 surpass both Elden Ring and Breath of the Wild, and as someone who loves both of those games, I think it's so cool to see a party-based, turn-based RPG, a game that many would consider falls into the CRPG category, do so freaking well. So the 20th BAFTA Game Awards took place on Thursday, April 11th of this year, 2024, and Larian took home a handful of awards, and of course one of these awards was the Best Game Award, which for this ceremony I'm assuming is equivalent to the Classic Game of the Year award. Apparently BAFTA doesn't like speeches of theirs being shared on the internet, as this video is completely copyright claimed, but I'm going to leave the speeches in this video because I think they are important. If you could just toss the video a like, I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, BAFTA. Thank you, everybody. I still can't believe we're standing here. You look at the footage of all the games that have been nominated, and they look so fantastic. And I look at every single image of the game that we've made, and I know how much work went into it, how much effort the team put into every single microsecond of this incredibly large game that took us so long to make. It's a testament to their incredible talent. They're representatives of almost all of our departments. There are a lot of people who put a lot of effort, a lot of heart and soul, really a lot of themselves into making Baldur's Gate 3. So this is amazing. So I want to thank our team. I want to thank our friends and family who supported us through what were sometimes really, really hard times. Our partners who have been amazing. There's really a truckload of partners that helped us make this game. We didn't do this on our own. It's like, I once counted it, I came at over 2,000 people that worked on Baldur's Gate 3, which is incredible, over 6 years. I'm forgetting people to thank, but our actors, because there's so many of you that are sitting here in the audience that are here that have spent so much time in those suits and stand on Croydon High Street. So thank you very much. This is super appreciated. And you look fantastic. Thank you. Take care.
What that shows us is that BG3 was a freaking powerhouse of a game, and universally, almost everyone seems to recognize that. And keep in mind that many of these ceremonies have different ways that they conduct the voting process and things like that, but BG3 still captured them all. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that I think part of BG3's success comes from factors outside of the game itself that deal with this company, Larian Studios, in the way that they present themselves. And I think these are actually very important factors. Putting BG3 aside momentarily, Larian has been very vocal on how they feel about the industry as a whole, what direction they advocate for it to head in, and it's clear that even if you don't agree with them on every single thing that they say, they seem to really want a better gaming industry for the players, and also devs too that work for companies, but for the players rather than the investors or the Activision CEOs and things of that nature. And I think this is a great thing to rally behind. All right, moving on to the rest of the awards that Larian won at BAFTA, starting off with the Best Music Award.
Good evening, everyone. Obviously, I'm overwhelmed. If somebody told me 20 years ago that I would be here with you, beautiful people, I wouldn't believe it. So the very first thing I would like to say is thank you to the BAFTA Academy and the BAFTA Games members for recognizing the video game music as an art in its own right. Thank you so much. I would like to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to our director, Sam Vinke, who is genuinely the most caring person I've ever met in my life. He cares about the games we make, he cares about his people, and most importantly for me, even though he had no idea why I was singing Down by the River, he trusted me from the start to the finish. So thank you, Sven, for your... I would like also to say thank you to the music team, to my friends and colleagues, Victor, Georgi, Dari, and to all the beautiful musicians that left a piece of their heart in the music, because I believe that if you don't leave a piece of your heart in the music, nobody can enjoy it and nobody can truly understand the feelings that were running through your heart during the composition process. And at the end, I would like to say thank you to each and every one of you in this room for making this special moment in my life. Thank you so much.
I love to see speeches like this. Clearly, you can see how much he cares about this, and it's much deserved. And I met Bobby in person, and I can honestly say, if there's someone that you wanted to win an award out there, someone that you wanted to see win an award, it would be Bobby. He is not only just good at his craft, but he's also a really humble, genuine person, and he really deserves to be recognized for this. A lot of tough competition this year for best soundtrack and best music and things of that nature, so it's great to see him win an award right now. So yeah, huge congrats to Bobby, the composer for BG3, but also Divinity Original Sin 2 and many other games in the past. Speaking of music, did you know that the voice actor for Raphael, Andrew Wincott,
My, what manner of BAFTA is this?
who is not a singer, actually sung Raphael's final act, one of the coolest songs in the game, in my opinion. Andrew won an award at BAFTA, the Performer in a Supporting Role Award, which is clearly well deserved, so huge congratulations. Really happy to see some of the VAs outside of the main companion cast get recognized for their work, and David clearly deserves this. Now, David's speech is over 6 minutes long, so I'm going to leave it for the end of the video, but I do encourage you to give it a listen. Chapter markers will be below. Larian also won the very important Player's Choice Awards, which they seem to take great pride in, which of course makes sense because this award is quite literally voted on by us, the players, rather than gigantic media companies.
David wasn't ready for this. Thank you very much.
I kind of was, but plans change as they do in game development. So thank you, first of all. Thanks for the people who voted for us. I was just thinking about how over a decade ago we started a Kickstarter campaign for Original Sin 1. And we were basically trying to prove that this idea that we had to build a turn-based RPG was something that people really wanted to play. Because no one else would believe us. And I remember we were very careful in saying, like, okay, when are we gonna think that the campaign is successful? Let's take maybe $100,000. Is that not too much? Maybe 200 or 150? Eventually, we got over $1 million, which proves that what we wanted to make is something that players wanted. And again, you have told us that we're making what you guys want. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Larian Studios has certainly come a long way from almost going bankrupt multiple times in their past to now making history. You love to see it. All right, moving on to the final award that they won, which is the Best Narrative Award. And as someone who is a huge fan of D&D Forgotten Realms lore, I really commend the writing team at Larian Studios for not only incorporating and working off of the foundation of, let's see, Forgotten Realms lore started in the 60s with Ed Greenwood when he first started creating this setting as a child, all the way up to now, the 2020s. And Larian did a really good job taking that lore, working off of it, and expanding upon it. So I think they are much deserving of this.
Oh, wow. It is heavy, like they said. It's a real honor and a privilege to be able to stand up here and represent the Larian writing and narrative teams and the entire team as a whole. So much goes into creating the kind of stories we try to do. Just watching the clip, the visual storytelling, it takes such a team of talent. I'd like to thank the years of creative contributions of the Forgotten Realms. So much creativity went into that, and to be able to build on that was really amazing. And most of all, I think, thank you to the players who were not only open to experiencing the stories that we wanted to tell, but then took them as their own and are still creating stories within that world and sharing them with us, and it's really amazing. Thank you very much.
I also met a few of the Larian writers, including Adam Smith, Larian's writing director. And I gotta say, you know, speaking with some of these devs in a more casual setting, it's not like an official interview or anything like that, and just hearing how much passion and love they have for what they do, specifically for Larian Studios, is really just an incredible thing to hear. And it just shows you that when you have passionate devs that also get to work for a studio like Larian that let that passion thrive, you get games like Baldur's Gate 3. Unfortunately, I think there's a lot of devs out there that do have that true passion for games, but they work for companies that don't really allow that passion to build and to grow. In fact, the passion gets suppressed when you work for companies that focus a lot more on profit and investors over the developers, and the players. So huge congrats to Larian Studios and all of these awards, and also making history. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to leave you guys with David Wincott's speech, the VA for Raphael. It's a great speech, and of course, it's really cool to hear him when he speaks because you can hear Raphael. Catch you all in the next one.
My, what manner of BAFTA is this? It is a heavy one, it's true. Don't wake me up. This is extraordinary. I've made a few notes. I don't know if they're in the right order. You'll have to bear with me. I'll try and be as quick as I can. I mean, it's just overwhelming. I mean, even to be nominated in the category with my fellow nominees and my fellow performers in this game is just humbling beyond belief. I don't know how many years it is now since my first session on this game. I hadn't done motion capture before, and I turned up to pit stop, and they said, "Yeah, you put your kit in the locker." I said, "What? My kit in the locker?" "Yeah, you put this Velcro bodysuit on." "Excuse me?" And I mean, we'd done all the tests, we were all set to go, the sound was working, the avatar was behaving, and a fire alarm went off. And out of nowhere, I was suddenly, with everybody from pit stop, standing on Croydon High Street in the drizzle of a Monday morning. So this is glamour. People were walking past going, "Oh, I've seen that bodysuit in M&S, I must get one." I went back to studio, we were fine. There was no fire, only the 9 hells. But I have to thank everybody at Pit Stop, the technical wizards, the directors, the movement coaches, who gave me the freedom to find the irony, the charm, and the danger of Raphael, the devil we love to hate, or hate to love. For me, it was a gift. It was like returning to theater. Raphael is nothing if not theatrical. Don't bother me now, I'm an anti-hero from the 17th century. But every session was such fun at Pit Stop. Unbelievable, even when it was wrong, went wrong, it was fun. And then, how much fun was the endless invention? There came the incubus harlep. You want Raphael to do what? I spent most of that session on my knees. And then came the song, Raphael's final act. Bobby, the creative genius behind the music. I only met Bobby last night for the first time. We'd collaborated. We spent an hour in a session. We recorded the song. He told me exactly what to do. He said, do it like this, do it like this, breathe here, no more, you got no less, the timing's not right. And then he said, right at the end of the session, they're watching the clock, we have to, come on, we've got to move on. And Bobby said, okay, we do it one more time. Now forget everything I told you. We do it one more time, we did it. And that was the one that was used. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. Very, very swiftly, I have profoundly and profusely to thank Larian. Sven, thank you for this opportunity. All the creative geniuses at Larian. Adam for writing Raphael, for giving him this appropriately Baroque turn of phrase. Jason, the amazing cinematics, thank you for this adventure. It's really been something. And thanks also to my amazingly supportive family, to my agent who has to put up with my increasingly demonic demands. And finally, I'd like to say thanks to the fans and followers of Raphael and Baldur's Gate 3 who have embraced this game from around the world. and have reached out to me with their own art, sometimes their writing. It's been really humbling how inspired they've been by this game. I just say, please keep being creative. Keep creating these worlds, and maybe one day we'll learn to protect the one we're in. Final reflection. About 28 years ago, which coincidentally is the same year as Lara Croft, it's great to hear and see Shelley, I stood in a studio in South London with a lot of radio actors and voiced a game called Broken Sword. Yeah. The original Broken Sword. And I think it was the first game to use voice actors. I think it may have been released just fractionally before Lara Croft, but I'm not arguing. But isn't it amazing that here we are, we're seeing these games celebrated tonight. Thank you, BAFTA, for celebrating them. The kind of detail, the sophistication, the storytelling. How exciting to think what games could be doing in another 28 years. But it's just great to be a part of this conversation and this community. Thank you, BAFTA, for this honor. Final words have really to go to Raphael, or almost Raphael's words. What's better than a BAFTA you don't know? A BAFTA you do. Thank you.